I am excited for you guys to see my relationship growing with the women as well. And we have a lot of fun times together, fun and funny. So you guys will be laughing and, just trying to get the group together and stay together.
So good to see you. I know we talked a little bit a while ago at the BravoCon carpet, and that was such a exciting time and kind of the beginning of this journey. But first off, how are you doing?
Hi, nice to see you again. I'm doing well, just off of my trip to Nigeria for the holidays, so I'm feeling good to be back.
Oh my gosh, how was that?
Oh, amazing. I go to Nigeria multiple times a year and it's always so great. And this time was especially special because I was just really well received by all my people. The fellow Nigerian celebrities, fellow housewives there, and it was great.
Yeah, oh, I love that. That's so good to hear. And I think, this is such a always exciting journey, I think, when you start off as a housewife and, like the fans immediately, like from the second you're announced, it becomes like this whole journey. So talk to me a little bit. Again, we talked at BravoCon. I think maybe the first episode had been out or was about to come out.
Mhm.
And now that there's more, just talk to me a little bit about now that you're able to watch the show back, because I know you had filmed it and then kind of sat on it a little bit. But now that you're watching it back, kind of what are your like first big observations?
You know, I think it took me a second to even process what was going on when I first saw the first episode and second episode. Everything I think has been, pretty transparent and accurately laid out in terms of my story. I think that I was just shocked to see not as much as my personal story being shown so far, but I'm looking forward to the second half because there's so much that you guys are going to see about me, my husband. You'll meet some of my family members. You'll see me interacting a lot with the girls more. And I'm just excited for you guys to see more of my life and, this Potomac lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, this is a show that I think the fans really love because we've come to know the OGs so much, but we also have like newer faces too that come in and really kind of shake up the group. It's always fun to see, I think, off the show as well. It seems like you have really connected with a lot of them, and it's nice to see you kind of just start on that journey.
Yeah, no, definitely. I've gotten really close with a lot of the girls, and we have a genuine relationship. Even though we're not filming, we still text, we still link up, we share pictures, videos, joke like we are a normal friend group.
Yeah, absolutely. And then talk to me a little bit too, of course, I want to dive into kind of just the Wendy of it all because it does seem like, again, this is your first season, and I feel like from the second episode, you definitely had some built-in tension with somebody based on from knowing or not knowing from before the show and everything. Again, kind of diving into my first question is going to be more so you watching this experience back now. Has anything been illuminating to you in terms of that dynamic, maybe where things kind of went wrong in terms of you guys getting on the right foot?
You know, I have thought about that. And I think the only thing that I would say is what I've also said on the show in my confessional. I don't necessarily like how it came out to her, the information. Under different circumstances, probably a private conversation would have been more suitable. But at the end of the day, the facts are the facts. And I just, was relaying, a conversation that transpired involving her family. But the bottom line ultimately is that she just really didn't want me here. And I am here. I live in Potomac. I have a great husband. I have a great lifestyle. And this is where I am and belong. So I think that's more of a her problem versus a me problem. And there's nothing I can really do about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it is always interesting again when a new housewife comes into the group and we start to see these shifting dynamics. And I feel like there definitely was a way in which the information was played out that I'm sure you were able to kind of see too. But at the same time, it's kind of good to see you kind of hold your ground in terms of that dynamic.
Yeah, absolutely. So that would be the only thing I would change is maybe the delivery, but everything still transpired and everything I said was factual. So we still haven't received any explanation as to what that was about. So we'll just forever be wondering.
Yeah, and then talk to me a little bit too about if there are any things or anything that you think the fans have to look forward to in terms of maybe even more clarity, at least on from my perspective, it feels like there's definitely a varied reaction to this dynamic. Of course, we've known Wendy for so long and we're just getting to know you, but are there things that you're excited? I know you can't say too much, but things you're excited that we're going to see in terms of this relationship play out or things that you want to be a bit more illuminated coming forward?
You know, I haven't seen the second half of the season, just like you guys haven't. So I'm hoping that there is a little bit more clarity, but also moving on. Like I've already addressed the matter. I brought it to her attention for an explanation. I received nothing. So I've put it past and I'm moving forward. I think you guys did see in the mid-season trailer that there is a sit down. So hopefully you'll get some more information there. And I guess the rest will be at the reunion.
Absolutely. That was a perfect segue to my next question. I mean, I feel like that's always like, I don't know, maybe like a Housewives baptism or something. I can't even think of exactly what it would be, but like your first reunion is always going to be, I think, super exciting. And again, you get to watch all of this and go back. Do you have certain things? I don't know, we're still a ways out, but certain things that you may want to prep for, or what are you most looking forward to, I guess, for that experience?
Yeah, the ladies have given me advice to get a lot of rest. It's going to be a very, very long day. But I think I'm going to be okay. When you're in a space of truth, you really don't have to remember anything besides the facts. I'm looking forward to getting some clarity on this whole crackhead ordeal. Like that was a very egregious, baseless statement. And, it's a disease. A lot of families have been destroyed and a lot of people have lost their lives. So I just, want to get more understanding as to why that would be something you would just falsely state about somebody so recklessly. Yes, I'm looking forward to clarity on that.
Absolutely. I think it always presents a really good time for you to kind of clear the air. Listen, sometimes in my own life with my own friend groups and things, I'm like, it'd be nice if we all just got together. It just like took a couple hours to kind of go over the past few months or whatever. So I feel like that's going to be good. But then onto some more positive things too, and you already touched on it a little bit. Again, I think I'm so excited for us to see more of your family, and I guess more like good times too. Are there more things in terms of even just fun times with the women that we're going to see? And then also just more maybe aspects of your home life and family that you're excited to share with all the viewers.
Yes, you guys will see the ladies in my house, kind of seeing how things have developed with the construction. You'll see my businesses that I'm so excited to share with you guys. And also my husband and I still on this fertility journey and, him not thinking it's a big deal in a sense, but me desperate to find answers and solutions that will work for our household. So you'll see my siblings as well. They'll participate. I think you have to just learn more about me and just how carefree I am and just fun. I like to have a good time and a glass of champagne. So you guys will see a lot of that.
Yes, I love that. I feel like with Housewives too, you guys are like onions. Like it's just like there are all these layers that then just kind of unfold. And we get to know more about you guys that then informs, not just your relationship with the women, but just the way you guys, show up on screen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You'll see a lot of that the second half. And I am excited for you guys to see my relationship growing with the women as well. And we have a lot of fun times together, fun and funny. So you guys will be laughing and, just trying to get the group together and stay together.
Yes, absolutely. And then talk to you a bit too. And again, we touched on that. It was a crazy day. I feel like I got to talk to you guys only for a little bit because you guys were so, again, Potomac is such a beloved show. Your panel was packed. So talk to me a little bit about how that experience was, kind of being thrown into this. There were thousands of fans, so eager to see all of you guys. Like, how has that experience been as well? And how was BravoCon for you?
Oh, it was amazing. I'm a people person. I love people. And just to see how well received I was, and we hadn't even aired yet. We hadn't debuted episode 1. And, the fans already knew who I was. They were already ready to, get pictures and all that stuff. And I just was really proud to be part of this franchise because the fans really do love us and they love our stories. They love that we let them into our lives. It was madness because I wasn't expecting that many people to show up, but they were there and they were just happy to like spend time with us.
Yeah, no, it definitely was. It's such a unique event for sure. Because again, I feel like these are your lives, right? So it's not like, I don't know, if you go to like maybe like another convention or you're meeting actors who play characters, which is still just as exciting. But it feels like they have such a personal connection to you guys, even if they haven't even officially met you on the show yet. Once you're announced, it's kind of that's just how the ball gets rolling.
Oh, once I'm announced, they know everything about me from sun up to sundown. So they were educating me on my stuff. I'm like, oh, thank you.
They are thorough. They are thorough for sure. And then talk to me a little bit, kind of just to round out again. This is such a big, like, extended Bravo universe. Are you a fan of other shows? Do you watch other shows? And were there other Bravo celebrities who you maybe got to meet along the way at that event?
Orange County, I was watching Orange County when I was in college. So, I really loved seeing the ladies there. I got to see Tamara, Heather DeGro. She was so sweet. She actually greeted me and I was like, oh, Heather, of course I know who you are. I love you. And, her husband it reminds me of my husband a lot. So, they got to interact together as well. Garcelle was amazing. Really enjoyed meeting her. And then Anne Marie, who's the new housewife on Beverly Hills, she and I really connected, and her husband and my husband connected as well. So it was really nice. And I actually did not meet Chanel Ayan at BravoCon, but our husbands met each other and stayed in touch. So when I was in Dubai a few weeks ago, the husbands arranged for Chanel and I to connect, and we did. And she has been a remarkable friend. She's been a great African sister, and that relationship continues to grow. And I'm just so grateful for her sisterhood.
Oh, that's so good to hear. I mean, those pictures of you and Chanel at dinner, that definitely blew up the internet a couple weeks ago. So I definitely got that. I love that so much. And yeah, I feel like even you and Heather Dubrow kind of have some similarities. I can totally see that. I mean, and also with the champagne thing. I mean, you guys hold
Oh,
champagne.
yeah.
You love champagne, so
Oh yeah, no, she was so sweet and she was fun. So, I'm looking forward to next year's BravoCon as well to continue to connect with these ladies. And, I travel a lot. I've been in Nigeria twice in the past 7 weeks. I was in Dubai. I'm traveling again next couple of weeks. So as I make my way through the United States, I'll continue to connect with my fellow housewives and just continue that journey.
yeah, absolutely. Well, so good to see you, Nneka. It was good to connect again and kind of talk a little bit longer. And we at theGrio again are just always excited to cover Potomac. So it's good to connect.
Likewise. Thanks for having me.